2030 agenda. And we do believe we want to share this with the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the press and fellow Zimbabweans, I stand before you today as a leader of the MDC Translate Party to address the pressing issues affecting our nation today. Before I go into detail, I want to capture the background of our independence and freedom. We are not the first group of people to talk about independence, to talk about freedom. We are probably the fifth generation that is talking about the freedoms of this country. The first group of people that waged the first Murenga in the 1890s was led by great leaders such as Vanapuyane Handalakagubi, Vanaro Benmula, Vanamapondera. They were fighting for the white colonial dominance on us. They were fighting for the independence and the freedoms of the Zimbabweans. So many leaders and so many people perished during that struggle. They thought they'd won. The whites were defeated us. But with no time, in the 1970s, the second Murenga was waged against them. Which means the people of Zimbabwe remained resilient and determined to acquire independence and freedom. The struggle was led by known people like General Tungogara, General Lukot Masuku, Vanababa Leopold Takawira, Vanajason Ziapapa Moyo, under the ambit of the ZANU and the Zebra forces, and many others that will be part of leadership. And a lot of women and boys perished in Mozambique, perished in Zambia, perished in Zimbabwe, fighting for the freedom and independence. They did not lose everything. They got independence in 1980. 1980, we celebrated in Zimbabwe here for the independence that was fought by Vanambuyana as well as the General Tungogara. These gentlemen, they were looking for one thing: to free their people of Zimbabwe, to help the Zimbabweans enjoy their freedoms, to enjoy their rights. In 1980, we got the independence, but we never got the freedom. You remember from 1980, a lot of people were perished, were killed. Remember the Kukura. They didn't give us any. It was trying to block the freedom of the people of Midlands and Matabeleland. Remember the Marabatuna issue. Remember the violence during the elections. People who died all over this country. People were raped, women were raped, homes were burnt. That was against the ethos of freedom. The Zimbabweans again regrouped in the 2000s. Under the leadership of Morgan Tsvangirai, Gibson Swanda, Isaac Matongo, and many others, and waged the mass democratic struggle for the freedoms of Zimbabwe. A lot of people died throughout the process. A lot of people were arrested, tortured. So many things happened which were against humanity under the governance of ZANU. It didn't go in vain. In 2018, a constitution was then adopted around February 2018. After the Zimbabweans assembled all over parts of Zimbabwe to contribute towards their sacrosanct document, the constitution. In that constitution, with certain clauses that we said these clauses will never be tampered with. Those clauses that touch the hearts of the Zimbabweans. It was Section 4, Bill of Rights. Section 16, Land. Section 91, 95, and 328. To make sure that we shall never ever again have a long distance lead. it was to deal with Mugabe, who had been in power for almost 37 years. And we learned from that abuse. Hence, we then wrote a constitution making sure that we will never want to experience another long-distance leader again. I'm surprised. This gentleman was also part of the people that wrote the constitution, E.D. Mnangagwa. He was there. E.D. Mnangagwa was the victim of the long-distance leader. That's why it used force through the military for him to get the power. Because he was pissed off by the long-distance leadership of Mugabe. We thought he had learned. We thought he knew that people of Zimbabwe cannot entertain it again. He is currently leading the mutilation of our constitution. And he's making a very big mistake because he's touching at the clause which we all must protect. That is section 195 and 328. To extend his term as the president of Zimbabwe. He took part of Mugabe's period. He is now serving his 10-year period. He wants to add 2 more years to make them 13. We are saying no. We cannot afford that. As Zimbabweans, us as MDC party, we are not prepared to accept that nonsense. This 5 years, 2 terms which was set in the constitution, has been adopted as well by other countries in the SADC. Also the countries today respect the 10-year term. In Mozambique, in Zambia, Malawi, Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia, Zambia, Angola, only Zimbabwe is the country which is going against the 10-year term for the president. What's special about it? And what's special about ZANU? Do you know Mugabe used to believe that there was no one who could run this country better than anyone else? Mnangagwa became a victim of that stigma. We thought he had learned, but no, he didn't. What is special about Mnangagwa trying to have 2 more years? Does he think that is indispensable? He's not indispensable. Zimbabwe itself is full of leaders. As you stand before me today, you can be the leader of this country. You yourselves. So what's special about it? He has been in the government since 1980, and he's been the president for almost 11 years, up to 2028. What more does he want? He should leave us to go according to our constitution. We don't want to violate that constitution, and we do not allow him either to violate that constitution. We cannot do that. All the reasons so far of proffered by ZANU as an excuse for him to extend it with the 2 more years are invalid. I have tried to look through those reasons, trying to find where I can locate the people of Zimbabwe. I don't see the people of Zimbabwe. I have looked through again and I located the interest of Mnangagwa himself and his family and his few cronies. So here we are dealing with the issue of the minority. We are dealing with the desires of Mnangagwa family and a few cronies. We will not allow that. Those reasons are not at all valid. The man wants to create a dynasty. Because you can't tell me that all those women and men that are in ZANU-PF, you can fail to find a leader to take over in 2028. That can't be. So, actually, the term extension would worsen the already crippled economy of this country. As we stand today, the economy of this country is diabolic and pathetic. You cannot be proud as the president to preside over such a diabolic economy, which has caused so much suffering among the people of Zimbabwe. I've been to hospitals. Hospitals in Zimbabwe are death chambers. You go there to just be managed so that you can die. The patient buys everything, including cotton wool, paracetamol. The Mnangagwa hospitals cannot afford to provide those basic things. So do you want us to add 2 more years for us that we can continue to suffer with these hospitals? No, we can't. Road infrastructure in high density areas and rural areas, look at them. How good famba lemota mali location. Potholes are just threatening. All roads, they are not at all travelable. And you cannot allow that. We have to stop this and make sure that we do the right thing. Our constitution has got safety nets. We will not tambuza for those 10 years, but can 10 years Africa, we will expect another leader. You have failed to even take care of your own employees, the civil servants. Ask any guy in the barracks, in the army. They are crying because they are paid nothing. Ask any guy in the CIO, they are paid nothing. Any guy in the police service, prison services. If you talk to a teacher, you can even cry. They are earning peanuts. Where's still? You pay your workers using ZIG at the rate of 25. When your employee gets his salary, he faces the market which demands that the ZIG is at 40. Which means the money that you give to a civil servant is devalued. Instead of earning 4,000, you're actually going home with 2.5 if you compute the mathematics. So we can't afford that. The government itself is cheating its own workers. We cannot allow you to extend with 2 more years when you can't handle the economy the way you are doing. And as the MDC Trangira demands that every worker must be paid above poverty datum line. If you pay these employees salaries more than just above the PDL, I'll keep quiet. I will not talk anymore. But as long as these workers are not earning above PDL, I will continue to make noise. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel. The influx of the vendors that you see in Zimbabwe is a sign of poverty among our people. Right now, go across the town. Our women, our young boys, they've opened their small shops in the street. It is not their choice because they are trying to make ends meet for their families. Those women that you see, they are trying to make sure that their kids go to school. Those combis that were harassed these days, building roadblocks all over the country. Those men and women are trying to make a living because there's no employment in the country. Those wendy's that you chase all over the city, they are trying to make a living. If they don't do that, their families will perish and die. Those mshika that you arrest almost every day, they are trying to send their kids to school because there's no employment. Those fishermen that you see in the Caribbean, don't harass them because if they don't fish and sell fish, they won't be able to feed their children and their families will die. Stop harassing the Makorokozas. What do you want them to do? You have failed to provide an environment which is conducive to job creation. So stop harassing them. What you must do as the government is to create employment first. So I call upon the government of Zimbabwe and the Council of Arab to stop harassing vendors. Stop immediately. Otherwise, one day you regret. Because people have no choice. They have to survive. So they are doing this to survive. Right now, look at your government in Nanga. School fees are so exorbitant. Right now, only those ones with big money can send their kids to some boarding schools. Thousands of the young people, girls and boys, are dropping out of school because of school fees. School fees are so exorbitant. You are presiding over a very weak currency, which you as a government does not even want. You have deliberately refused to sell fuel, diesel, and petrol using ZIG because you don't want it. You are forcing us to use the ZIG, which you don't want as a government. Show us that you have desire to use the ZIG by allowing people to buy petrol, diesel using the ZIG. So therefore, you don't even respect your own currency. We also don't respect it. So we can't give you 2 more years. We can't give you the cost of living today. Do you know many families these days do not eat 3 times a day? Majority of our people eat 001. Other families don't even eat, they put 000. They will eat tomorrow. And you want us to increase the 2 years for you to keep us in this diabolic state? We cannot afford that. Right now, before you also Nanga, companies are closing down. Industries are shutting off. We've witnessed major retail shops today, they've closed, such as N. Richards, some of the OK shops, Food Lovers, and many others that have failed to survive under your government. Where are we going? Very soon we'll be running short of food in this country. We are going back to the period of 2007, where people would go and buy food in Mozambique, South Africa, and Botswana and Zambia. This is where we are going right now. By the end of this year, shops will be empty. Today, visit some of the OK shops. They are no longer restocking. They are now filling some of the shelves with tissues and water. That's a bad signal. We are going into trouble. You are presiding over a very, very corrupt country. Out of a survey of 185 countries that were 180 countries that were surveyed by Transparency International 2023 Corruption Perception Index, Zimbabwe is sitting on 149, which means it's one of the worst corrupt countries in the world. And you want us to take you to 2030 so that these corrupt people can enjoy, while the majority of the people are suffering and living in abject poverty. The few would be living in paradise. The majority living in abject poverty. You can't afford that. Do you know that in 22 a survey was carried out? And Zimbabwe was found to be one of the most miserable nations. A sum total of countries' inflation rate, unemployment rate, and interest rate. Zimbabwe, one of the most miserable states where people are not happy, is Zimbabwe. And you want us to add 2 more years to maintain all these unacceptable conditions. We cannot afford it. We cannot afford that. This country is not even enjoying what we fought for in the liberation struggle. Our political rights are violated. People are not allowed to do rallies. When you go for elections, a party can have about more than 200 rallies, all blocked by you and your police force. The basic rights that we should always enjoy in Zimbabwe, political rights, we don't enjoy them. And you want to add 2 more years for us to suffer after that. We need that freedom. We're not getting it. People are arrested unnecessarily. The example was on a job scholar, stayed in prison for almost 2 years. And the courts found him not guilty. On Amos Shibaya, been arrested over and over again. That's pathetic. It's unacceptable. And we cannot add 2 more years for us to go through this. We need our freedom. We need our freedom. We cannot continue to be led by a leader. Do you know this country, through former paradise, the mental health state is very high. 40% of the Zimbabweans have got mental illness due to depression because of the economic challenges. So do you want us to add 2 more years so that our people can continue to suffer? This number will increase 40%. We'll be running a country of people that are not normal. And we can't afford that. 2 more years are written because our people are already living in depression. Drug and substance abuse, gambling, which is causing GBV. You can't do that at all. Our people need to be saved. We don't want to go through this again. Abject poverty in this country is above. There are huge number of people that are living in abject poverty. More than 6.6 million live in abject poverty in this country. 49% of Zimbabweans today live in abject poverty. And you cannot appreciate, cannot accept this kind of a situation to prevail. You cannot at all allow that. Unemployment in Zimbabwe is 85%. And you want to add 2 more years. We can't accept that. We cannot at all. We need to make sure that the people of Zimbabwe go for elections in 2028. People of Zimbabwe must go for elections in 2028. We can't accept any day further than that. We need to make sure that as Zimbabweans, come hell, come thunder, we will stand against any violation of our constitution. Even by a single day you can fall. So 2028 elections must be called. And our people must enjoy that benefit. So right now, as we are here as MDC, we are going to join the other members of our side who are against any attempt to run away from 2028 elections. We are going to join other people and we want the people to come together so that we defend ourselves. We will not allow it as MPC. We want the people to be given the opportunity to vote in 2028. No more time to play, no more time to joke. Otherwise, as we go, we are prepared for anything. We are prepared for any penalty. We are prepared for anything that comes to us. We don't mind. If it means we will perish, we will be arrested, will be poisoned. Let it be. Jesus Christ died for us. We are prepared to die for the people of Zimbabwe as well. I'm not saying we are Jesus, but we will imitate the cause by Jesus, which was which we all know. We are calling upon all progressive forces, churches, traditional leaders, war veterans, vendors, informal and formal sectors, business associations, business community, civil servants, trade unions, students, youth, diasporans, and all political parties to join hands. To join hands to resist this attempt by ZANU-PF trying to play games with us. We've suffered for more than 45 years now. We now need a change. We shall, as MDC and Iraq, use the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Section 58, to organize and mobilize Zimbabweans, to demonstrate peacefully in all parts of Zimbabwe, to protect and defend our constitution, which is under serious threat by ZANU-PF. May the Lord bless us and bless you all. Thank you so much.